This week in gaming and tech news. Still heating off at the White House with Anthropic being banned with their newest model. We've also got chaos in the UK with the under 16s ban, so I'll give my thoughts on that. We also have Xbox Game Studios shutting down. So let's get into it. But first, if I may be a little bit cheeky and ask, if you like this content, please subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And if you hate me, you can always unsubscribe. So now with the self-promo out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, so the first story I want to go over, Anthropic recently released Mythos to the public under Fable 5, which is basically Mythos with safeguards put in place. So if you ask it to do certain things, it puts restrictions and it goes back to the older model. Well, you won't be able to use Mythos model if you're prompting it for its restrictions. But in the US, which was done from a paper from Amazon, claims that there was a series of prompts and you'll be able to get Fable 5 to some other information that could be used in a cyber attack. So basically bypassing their models, we're being able to do stuff that the safeguards didn't prevent. So again, past those safeguards. So they deemed it as like a national threat. It's on the same level as nukes, which is just crazy now. Anthropic disputed the government's characterization of an issue as a jailbreak. They argued as the same vulnerabilities could be discovered using other publicly available models such as GPT 5.5. But honestly, it's just crazy that they were models again banned from public use. But yeah, the American company said it had little choice after the White House demanded it block access for all foreign nationals, including its own employees. So at first, they made it so only US citizens could use the model, and if you're living in the US but you're foreign, you can't use it as well. Which is just crazy, man, that this was going to be put in place. And if you worked at Anthropic, you can't use the model if you're foreign. Which is honestly just insane. But they realised how we can actually put this in place. So they just banned it for every citizen. But now, they've already thought about this. They've said, you know what, we're only going to have this model for US citizens. This just means that other countries are going to work on their own AI models. You've seen it in Europe, they're going away from US technology, having their own WhatsApp alternatives. Here we are living in slow times. I do think that some government intervention is very needed. Like, if a model is too powerful, yeah, don't give it to the public. The amount of damage you could do, if someone has bad intentions, they could cause a lot of harm. But I'm also of the belief that the current state of AI isn't good enough unless they already have the experience. Like, I wouldn't be able to just say bypass some software, but with experts, I feel like, yeah, it could be it could be a very damaging tool used for malicious intent. So we just have to see how this develops. Next, okay, this is a very controversial topic. The under 16s in the UK will be banned from social media from early 2027. This is following the same ban in Australia. My take is that I don't know if it should be down to the parents, and I'm coming from someone who is not a parent. I think there should be maybe more parental responsibility put in place with seeing what your kids are up to, putting restrictions in. And yeah, like, I'm in a quite privileged background. I have some tech experience, so I could do that. But maybe they don't have the experience to put this parameters in. But then I guess that should be on like the company behind the device, saying it's easy to set up. Maybe some, I don't know, free lessons, but I guess I don't know who's gonna do that. And people probably don't have time and to monitor kids, and they just give their kids the iPad just to like shut them up. It's always using itself. So the government already deciding what you can and can't do. I know there's definitely some stuff you should definitely not be allowed to do. But social media, the only thing I would say is that, yeah, sure, I don't think Instagram, Facebook, X are good for kids. They're really toxic, and I'm so happy I wasn't really into that side of social media. The one that made me think this is a bit controversial was YouTube. And there's definitely bad aspects of YouTube. YouTube was such a lifesaver for me. It just was like my therapy as a kid. Watching Stampy, watching Dan TDM, it was just so goated. And now, like, some kids won't be able to have that same experience. But also, YouTube is very educational as well if you know where to go, and helped me with my GCSEs, with a revision, and that's also going to be taken off you. So I do think eventually probably they won't add YouTube to the list, and YouTube are already like appealing this. The thing is, messaging apps such as WhatsApp and Signal will not be banned in the evil online platform Roblox. So a lot of people will probably think, why is Roblox not banned? But then, man, they're coming for gaming too eventually. I don't know, what do you guys think about this? Do you think this is good? I definitely think social media is a toxic place. Also the thing is that there's no incentive for the companies behind the social media to change. They're making so much money from selling your data. How are they going to implement? They said they're going to use like email age estimations. So if you're just signing up for some dodgy things, they might think you're underage. Also maybe face, maybe IDs, but kids are very limited on what IDs they have, except maybe their passport, birth certificate. So it's just insane. And also, 16 and 17 year olds are going to have a social media curfew, so in the evenings they just can't use social media, which is also crazy. I don't know if that's the right implementation. I don't know, man. That was always something I look forward to, going home and just watching some YouTube. Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Let me know. Next, okay, it's time for the quickfire. The Xbox Game Studio head and chief of staff steps down. As Xbox are doing a bit of a reset at the moment, Craig Duncan has stepped down after just a year and a half in the role. He was the lead developer of Sea of Thieves and at Rare for 13 years. He was managing Double Fine Header Studios in XR, Obsidian, Playground Games and the Coalition. With also some studios being closed down, with Ninja Theory being closed after just revealing a new game. So an article from Insider Gaming is claiming that earlier today it was suggested that South of Midnight developer Compulsion Games are going to be shut down by Xbox. Ninja Theory, the creator of Hellblade game, is also closing down. Ninja Theory is the latest studio to be targeted by Xbox's cost-cutting measures. So yeah, Double Fine have created some bangers, and I guess Xbox just don't really know what they're doing. They're just kind of just doing a reset. It's always sad to see. Facebook's new AI mode, such gets info from its public posts. But let's say you put, I don't know, Paris. They'll pull someone's post who's looking at the Eiffel Tower, so you can see what it's like from public posts. Honestly, I don't know if this is really needed, but hey, more AI. God of War Lafay could be coming as early as 2027, as a report from Insider Gaming stating. In Xbox backend, buy now pay later option appears, and honestly, yeah, this is the future of like every purchase is going to be buy now pay later. With apparently in the backend, it appears players will be able to use the new feature with PayPal and Klarna. You're telling me that I'm going to be going in debt over my Xbox, man. This is just insane, but the Switch 2 port of Clair Obscur Freddy 3 is coming this year to Switch 2. The DOJ approves the Paramount Plus Warner Bros. Acquisition for $111 billion. So I wonder what this is going to mean for the future of entertainment industry. If you use Arch Linux, there's a lot of vulnerabilities in the AUR Linux package manager. Over 400 compromised packages, so be careful if you're using Arch Linux. I do believe it's been sorted out now, but hey, if you're using old packages, not an update. And as someone who has used Arch Linux, it was so easy to just install stuff and not know what you're installing, but I think that's with everything, so I think nowadays it's definitely more important to know what you're installing. Going back to the original story at the start of the video, apparently the White House's decision to impose export restriction on Anthropic's Mythos was driven by fears to stop China from accessing the model, as it poses a national security risk. So that's just more to add on that. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella believes there's more monetization of Xbox games happening on YouTube than at his own company. Recently commented saying, "Current challenge will see that Xbox team trying to figure out how to innovate both in hardware as well as in games going forward in a commonly viable way. No one can accuse Microsoft of not having invested for the last 25 years. Now we have to turn this into a sustainable business that delivers what is fundamentally one of the best sources of entertainment still." So yeah, trying to make Xbox sustainable, and I do think, and more and more reports are saying that Xbox might be spun out into their own like entity. I don't know if that sounds so appetizing to say we need to make it economically viable. Obviously, you want your company to be making money, but that just sounds like more layoffs, less risks in games. But I just feel like everything is just so cooked at the moment, and no one really knows what to do. People don't have the money. And finally, Xbox are reportedly trying to speed up development times on games such as the new Elder Scrolls Fallout and Halo games, as Microsoft considers restructuring or spinning off its gaming branch. Definitely think that's needed, especially with Bethesda, man. What are they doing? It's taking so long to publish any games. It came out in 2011, which is just insane, man. How time goes, but there's been like 15 different editions of Scum? Hey. But that's this week's gaming and tech news, and I'll see you in the next one.
Latest gaming and tech news every week. Keeping nerds up to date. Yeah, you know the rest.